I'm talking about? Jussie Smollett. He's a very famous French actor. He was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack. The gay community started accusing African-American community of being homophobic for not supporting him. We understood that this nigga was clearly lying.
The damage you've done to yourself is way beyond anything else that can happen to you from me or any other judge that would be sentencing you in this criminal case. You'll spend the first 150 days of your sentence in the Cook County Jail, and that will start today, right here, right now.
I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal, and I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago.
What is good, YouTube family? It's your boy Rashad with the Black Anomaly Rising channel. Man, Jussie Smollett, aka Jussie Smollett, for those who don't know. If you haven't seen the Dave Chappelle special, then definitely check that out, because it is freaking hilarious where he talks about Jussie Smollett. But this guy had this notorious history for faking a hate crime. You know, he claimed that some folks walked up to him and started hollering about some MAGA, and they dropped the F-bomb, the slur for a homosexual person, and and then they put a rope around his neck, and just all kinds of just ridiculous stuff that you basically never hear about happening to anyone, hell, in general, much less in modern times, walking around the streets of Chicago, right? So I actually used to watch the show that he's, one of the stars in, Empire. I used to watch this show, I stopped watching like before this incident occurred, and it was a pretty decent show. Terrence Howard is one of my guys. Like, he's like one of the top black actors, at least for me personally. I think he's awesome. I love it when he's especially in a villainous role. I just feel like he's probably a villainous guy in real life. Usually it works out like that. But anyway, Jussie Smollett was also good on the show, and he put himself into this stupid situation, and he was sentenced to jail, 150 days. He managed to get this stalled this entire time. Here I am thinking he's in jail. He managed to get this stalled, and he was only in jail for like 6 days while he was doing an appeal. Take a look.
The appellate court judge today ruling in favor of the special counsel on every single argument that was raised by Jussie Smollett's defense. Smollett has exhausted just about every legal measure to this point, but there's still one last chance of taking this to the Illinois Supreme Court, and that could kick this 150-day sentence even further down the road. Another loss in court for Jussie Smollett today. This time, judges rejecting his appeal of a conviction for faking a racist and homophobic attack in 2019. Special prosecutor Dan Webb says he took on the pro bono case in hopes of restoring the public's faith in the Cook County justice system.
I was very confident going to the Illinois Appellate Court. I did not think that Smollett's issues that they raised on appeal had any merit.
ABC 7 legal analyst Gil Sofer says the ruling was a strong win for the special prosecutor, considering all the arguments that were raised by the defense.
The defense, Jussie Smollett, threw the kitchen sink at this case, argued everything from undue COVID restrictions to inappropriate comments made from the bench during the trial. Lots and lots of arguments, every one of them flatly rejected.
The ruling means Smollett must finish his entire 150-day jail sentence for the crime. He served 6 days before being released last year. But Smollett's team may exhaust one more legal effort, asking the Illinois Supreme Court to hear this case.
The Illinois Supreme Court process is really the end of the road for him, and it's not likely to give him much success. It's pretty hard to get a hearing before the Supreme Court, and even harder to win ultimately when you're there.
Now, Sofer says it could take weeks for the Supreme Court to decide if they'll even take that case, and if they do, then it would keep Smollett from serving that jail sentence for several months. It's not clear yet if there will be another appeal. We made several efforts to reach out to Smollett's lawyers today, but we have not heard back.
So it looks like he failed. It looks like he is screwed. Now, there's two ways to look at this. There's a part of me, because I'm kind of like a guy who doesn't like to see people just suffer. There's part of me that kind of feels bad for him at this point, because it's just starting to feel sad. I don't know, maybe some of that anger for like, oh man, this idiot lied, is kind of died down because it's been so long. But there's also another part of me that feels like, man, I get so tired of people like wanting, it's like the demand for racism and bigotry and hate is way higher than the actual supply. And I do feel like these examples got to be set. You know, you got that Carly Russell story. You know, you got the story I just did about the boy who was the Indian. You know, he was dressed up in the headdress and had the face paint. They was talking about his black face. I'm tired of the race hustling. I'm tired of the fake cases because there's real actual harm that happens. You got all of these people riled up. You got all of this money involved that's, you know, not necessarily my money, but technically a lot of people's money out of Chicago because the local authorities got to get involved and do all this investigation. I mean, dude was hiring actors to help him facilitate the crime.
You were the ones that did it.
Yeah, it was us.
It was a crazy scene that Jussie put on. He even said,
I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of.
I'm like, dang, you ain't your mother's son, buddy. Because this dude
Better get that birth certificate.
So now they're involved, they're accessories to the crime. You know, it's like there's so many things. And now when there's actual real issues and real violence against LGBTQ, now people are going to be a little bit more skeptical now, maybe a lot more skeptical. There's actual racism, a lot more skepticism for that. And it's like by default, it's almost like you just can't believe anyone. You just gotta see what the evidence, where the evidence is, what the actual truth is first, before you even take anybody on their word, because they just might be chasing clout. You know, because that's what this guy was doing, just chasing clout. He had no reason. This got to be like one of the stupidest things that he could have possibly done. No reason to do this. He was already, I mean, y'all heard the judge. He was already on his way up in his career. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much started becoming somewhat of a, not like a household name, but his name was out there. You know what I'm saying? But now his name is known as like, anytime somebody fakes some sort of hate crime, it's like, oh, another Jussie Smollett, Jussie Smollett, whatever we want to call him. And it's sad that that's the legacy that he's going to be leaving. He's still in denial about it, still saying he's innocent. And I'm like, bro, I just don't see a way. Like, I'm sorry. Your ass is going to jail. I don't see a way for you. I don't see how you're going to get out of this. They're talking about the Supreme Court. You know what? Let me take that back. Because if it goes to the Supreme Court, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, he got money. Money talks. Now, I don't exactly know if it's going to change anything. Maybe they could. Okay, here's what I actually think is going to happen. He's not going to get out of it. But I do think that maybe after he serves some of his time, then maybe they let him out early or something. I don't exactly know what dictates whether or not you get out early. But I feel like considering his status, maybe they'll feel bad for him too. You know, maybe if his behavior is good, then they'll let him out early. I don't know. But that's just a hunch that I have, is maybe they could negotiate something. But otherwise, I guess he's fucked. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Appreciate y'all watching Black Anomaly Rising. I'm out.
Did you see them? Do you have any? Okay, what they have on? MAGA hats. MAGA hats on in Chicago. Frank, come here for a second. Find out where Kanye West was last night.